files, good luck. If you ask anybody to help you. Backup just means you have more than one copy of your information. And one of the big things we're going to discover as we get older, like when I grew up, we had negatives for pictures and we had printed pictures, and there's negatives that can last 100, 200 years. Well, the problem with digital is if your phone crashes and burns, all your photos are gone. Maybe they're backed up to the Apple iDrive or iCloud, or maybe they're backed up to the Google, and maybe they're not. So in 100 years, well, we have our photos, like 100, we still have photos from 100 years ago that have survived. Black and white photos, they're perfectly fine. In 100 years, well, all the photos you've taken still be around. The problem is storage technology changes. What if I had stored all my photos on a USB drive and in 10 years, there's no more USB ports anymore, which there could be. When was the last time you used a floppy disk?
Nobody touched them.
Yeah. Well, at one point, floppy disks were the big external backup for people at home. It's an obsolete technology. So if you have a bunch of stuff stored on floppy disks, they were not reliable. They're very fragile. They only lasted so long. They're basically made of plastic. So one of the issues that we have as a society is archival. And one of the things that museums do with digital things is they have to keep transferring stuff on old type of media to newer stuff. So that they suddenly are like, oh gosh, we don't have anything that'll read this 8-track tape anymore. I'm just using that as an example, and that will happen over time. And it's going to increasingly happen. The ubiquitous thumb drive that we have now here may not exist in 5 years. There's probably going to be, maybe there'll be something else, maybe not. Maybe it'll just get faster and bigger. So what we're looking at is the different types of backups. An external hard drive. Does anybody know what an external hard drive is? Anybody have one? Not here, but you have one? So an external hard drive that's a USB drive. So like Shauna did this, like an external hard drive would look like this. I've actually got a little tiny one that's a 1 or 2 terabyte SSD external hard drive. I like it because it's really fast. But it's a hard drive that's not connected to my computer unless I connect it. And an advantage of that is I could, if I had all my precious photos on there, I could take it to the bank and put it in a safety deposit box. If my house burns down, there's all my photos. So one of the rules of backup, and I'm surprised I didn't put, oh, there it is. The 3-2-1 rule of backup. Oh, and I don't explain it in here, do I? Oh, there it is. There's something called the 3-2-1 rule of backups. So just as a general rule of thumb, the minimum you should have is 3 copies of your information on 2 different types of media. So media would be USB drive. Media would be the SSD drive on my computer. Media would be, I've got stuff stored on OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox, whatever. Anytime you have it stored on a different type of platform or a different place, that's a different media. And 1 copy off-site. Well, how are you going to store a copy off-site? You're already doing it, by the way, if you use any cloud surfaces. Anything you have stored in Blackboard is somewhere in my thinking. I don't know, East Coast someplace maybe, but that's off-site. Any online storage is off-site. So at home, I have a USB drive. I actually have a server. Of course, I'm an IT guy. I have a server at home. I also have stuff in OneDrive. I have a cloud storage thing that I pay for backups, which really has helped me at sometimes. So I have more than 3, but as a general rule, it's helpful to have 3 copies, 2 different media, 1 off-site. So if you have a copy on your USB drive, a copy on your computer, and maybe OneDrive, you've got 3 copies and 1 is off-site. What are the odds that all 3 of those are going to explode all at once? It's unless we have Armageddon, and nuclear war, we have a nuclear winter, probably one of those is going to survive. So sometimes you don't pay attention to the backup speech until you've lost all your work for a semester. Is that a big deal? Could be. I've had students say, yeah, not a big deal. I can just do it again. Oh, well, my time is more precious than redoing all these assignments. And you do get a backup of your assignments that you submit in Blackboard. You can get them back. I think. Yeah. Unless I go in and delete them. I can go clean them out. No. So be conscious of backups is important, and also how often you do your backup is important. If you back up all your files to an external drive once a year, you have a year's worth of information to do. So how often you back up is based on, I say, how much time can you afford to recreate all that information? I have stuff backed up like several times a day just because I don't want to redo anything. Because sometimes you can't remember what you did. Can you remember what you did at 9 o'clock this morning even? Okay, that's pretty good. But go back last week at 9 o'clock in the morning, do you remember what you would have typed in for an assignment for a class? And let's go 2-3 months. Yeah, it gets less and less as you go, and I don't want to redo any of that stuff. Yeah,
What about crypto wallet?
about what?
Crypto wallet.
I don't know what that crypto wallet.
We have blockchain for you, keep your crypto.
Oh, I don't know much about cryptocurrency.
No.
I know crypto wallet would be like digital keys and certificates that verify
Like
that
a
you are.
backup, yeah,
Yeah,
been safe.
oh, yeah, it's money. So you want to have backups. There's usually a way to make extra copies of anything. I don't deal in cryptocurrency. I should have started out way back when it was like a hobby, but I didn't. I was not smart enough. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be on an island somewhere with the price of Bitcoin. Oh, yeah. I had a student who'd done that as a hobby and he had a bunch of it. And then I talked to him, I don't remember what one it was. He says, yeah, I can't find my wallet. He says, I have enough Bitcoin in there. I could have retired, but he couldn't find his wallet, his digital wallet. Yeah, if,
There's always the famous tale of someone spent, back when Bitcoin was fractions of cents per, someone spent 25,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. It would have been worth hundreds of millions of dollars today.
but who knew if you could hang on to it for like 10 years or whenever Bitcoin came out? Because I remember that when it came out.
2009 or that.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah. So 15 years. I didn't know it'd been that long. Wow. But you never know. It could have been a flash in the pan, but here it is. It's worth, I don't know, how many thousands of dollars per Bitcoin now? You can buy 1% of a Bitcoin, half a Bitcoin or something. It's
That's a move.
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy what's happened. But, whatever, those things happen.
I have like one fear. Few like you.